So I have a little bit of a different video today. I was looking around my desk and realized I have all sorts of pens and stationery items in use, so I thought I'd do a state of the stationery. Just a quick look at how I'm using all these different journals, books, and pens in my day-to-day use. Let's take a look. Okay, so I'm going to start with the two different planners that I'm using. This is the Hobonici Weeks for 2025, and I'll put a link to the video I did on this. That I'm not using this anywhere near as much as I thought I would due to how the paper reacts with show through and a little bit of bleed through, but I am still trying to use it some. Kind of a disappointment, but that's in use. And on the side here, I've been keeping my Pilot Custom 92 with Sailor Tea Time ink in it. And then this is my Rhodia A5 planner, which, I've been keeping track of things like when I've been releasing videos and scheduling videos and normal calendar items throughout here. So that's the Rhodia. And just for format on this, if you're not familiar, this is a week on the left and then a blank page on the right. And then there's little tear-offs in the corner so that you can easily turn to the right page as a quick reference. So I've been using these since I think 2018. So a big fan of these. So that covers the planners and calendars. Okay, so next let's move on to notebooks that I just kind of keep at my desk for general meeting notes or scratch writing and whatnot. This is a really old Rhodia meeting book that I'll use scratch notes and things like that, different meetings, doodling, testing pens after I fill them, things like that. It's got kind of a header, a date field, a notes, and then an action item field, kind of a standard. The Nemesis is also one I've been keeping at my desk that has a similar format. You've got a date field, kind of a title, and then this is just 3 sections of lined pages, so handy for meeting notes. And then this is the latest, is the Clyde, that I've been using this in videos. As you can see, there's some stuff here from when I did the Diplomat Viper video. This is single page, and it's the 2mm grid that Clyde is known for. I've been using that for some notes and things right there. So that's been handy, and I wasn't certain at first if I would like this more horizontal instead of vertical, but it turns out I actually like it a lot. For how I'm using this notebook, it's been very handy. And a bonus is all these pages are perforated, so you can easily remove it if you need to and put it in another book or file it away. So those are my general at-the-desk style notebooks. So let's move on to journals. Okay, so in terms of actual journals, this is my current journal itself, which is a Write Notepads hardcover. And this is just what I've been doing general journaling in. You can see, every line used. I do prefer a lined notebook for journaling. That's what I've always used. And then I keep I just blanked on it, a blotting paper in here so that if I'm turning pages, I don't have any bleed back. Most of the inks and nibs I write with, it's not a big deal, but in a journaling session before I flip the page, I'll just make sure and blot the last couple lines. Now, this is also a Write Notepads hardcover. This is a dot grid, and this is a commonplace book. I just started this not that long ago, so there's not all that much in it yet. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to use this. Like this is a pen inventory of all the different pens that I know that I have. I know there's some new ones that I haven't added in here that I've purchased recently that I need to add. And, there's other pens that I come across in nooks and crannies in my office at times. So I've been trying to keep this up to date as well as I can. And then I made another session. I put a post a while back, was putting down I got the stamps from the Well-Appointed Desk that I have a video I'm working on to make for those, but just some of the coffee, brewing Chemex or brewing pour over with ratios and whatnot. So commonplace book being general reference. I'm trying to be more formal about it, but also I really don't know what I want to put in it. So but I like this format. I like the color is different, so I can quickly grab the gray for the journal or the blue for the commonplace. And I take it with me in case, an idea hits that I'm like, oh, I should put that in the commonplace book. And then this is, let's see, is this the top? That's the back. This is a journal cover that I made probably 2015 or 2016. It's a red Latigo leather that's well worn in. And in here I have, it's a kind of a mock traveler style with elastic. This is a Tomo River A5 that I use for some health tracking stuff in there. This is a vintage from Vanessa from the Arkansas Pin Show, and I think this was 2016 or 2017, something like that. And this is normally like my pin club meetup book. You know, people have pins, you're going to test them out, you need something to, write on. This is original Tomoe River paper, so it's going to show things great. So, it's kind of neat to look back. Architect Nib from here. This was different pins that people had at the different days of the pin club meetup. So it's always nice to try that out. Then I have a Lochby insert, and this one is a well out of date, currently inked, another piece of blotter paper. I bought a pack of this, and I kind of leave one scattered in the different A5 notebooks. This helps me keep track of when I re-ink a pen, I'll write it in here. So if someone asks, hey, what's in that pen that you're using, I have a reference. And then this is something I started when I got this insert. I was trying, I'd been out of pens for a few years, and once I got back in, I wanted to kind of reacquaint. So I started doing this, and I write about 10 lines per pen as I was inking them. So as I started to get back into the pens, I would go through and write things like, oh, I remember I bought this pen at this shop at this time, and it's been interesting to kind of look back. And I even referenced my old journal to get some of the dates. So this has been a fun kind of side project of just writing down, a little history of each of the pins and why I have them, where I got them, things like that. Like this was the latest one in here. This was actually written with the giveaway Asvine that I did, just so I had a writing sample reference for future. I didn't do the full 10 lines on that because I didn't think it was really needed, but, another piece of blotter paper. And so that's everything in this as well. So that covers most of the A5 size. So let's get on to the pocket notebooks. Okay, so in terms of pocket notebooks, I'll start with this one. It's my original one. This is my similar Latigo leather as the A5. I've had this for many years, and it still has field notes in it from when, that was my preferred notebook of choice. You can see this was from a game of Phase 10 for a score chart. Dot grid, just another field note that this one I took a lot of pages out of there. This was when we were going to New York, a list of all the different pen stores in New York, their addresses, the hours that they were open. So we had a quick reference to kind of plan where we were going at that time. And then this, I just haven't taken it out yet. This was a traveler's insert, an undated, that I got for 2024. So this is now out of date, so it just needs to be removed. But since I'm not using this notebook as much, it's still used a little bit, and I've moved to the Lochby, I didn't feel the need to replace that. That's what the Hobonici was supposed to do, but we've seen how that's worked out. So this is the newest pocket notebook, and I have the couple of Lochby inserts in here. I did end up taking out number 4. If you watched the video when I had this, I put all 4 in there, and it was just a little bit thicker than I'd like. So this has become, these are some notes on the Asvine versus the Pilot 823 when I was doing that. Prep for the video, some other video-related things in this one. This is a blank one that actually has not been used yet. I like to keep a blank one in there, but I don't use blank pages all that much. This would probably, if I'm at a pen meetup or something and I don't have the A5 or don't want to grab it out, this is one that I'll pull out and put on the top of the table when I first get there. This might become that kind of a substitute for that A5 insert from Vanessa, just to have some Tomoe paper as a quick blank testing pad. And then same for the lined. Haven't used it as much. Now I do have in the back here some of the different note cards of the Natsu to-dos and the Natsu dot grids. So that's been handy to be able to pull those out and use them. And this is the spare cards in the back. And in the front, I currently had it out from doing the other video. This is where I kind of put a in progress card of sorts. And then the pin that I've been leaving in here is the Asvine J16 with the Iroshizuku Cyan Gyo ink in it. That's been a great pin. And I'm really looking forward to throwing some different nibs on that after the pin show in March. And what ties into the pocket notebooks is with the video that you might have already seen is the note card systems. So I have all this variety of note cards that was testing and I'm using. So I have plenty of note cards to last me quite some time. But this is the to-do system of the Natsu, where I've got pinning things in the top and filing, and then extra of the to-do cards in the box. And if you haven't seen that video, you can pop the cards up there so you have it sitting on your desk. You know what you're working with. So that's been handy. And the other part is here on my desk that I had out. This is what I've been taking with me throughout the house as kind of a to-do list page and reminder. And it's just for a single card. And I've been keeping the Diplomat Viper in the back with the diamine writer's blood with that magnetic cap for quick notes of adding something to a shopping list, not having to unscrew. That's become a really great pen combination for this. So that kind of covers all of the paper note cards and accessory related things. Now let me grab the couple of pen cases here of what I currently have inked in addition to these couple that you've seen that I've been carrying around. Okay, so I'm going to start with this case here. This is kind of my overflow pen case, the pens that I'm not using all that often, but they're still inked, so I don't want to put them up. I either had them inked from attending a pen club meetup or something like that, and I just haven't cleaned them. So this is a way of separating them, but I have my Harry Potter Lamy All-Star, my Namisu Stone-Washed Orion, my Esterbrook Raven, and that's going to get a ground down nib at the pen show, so I'm looking forward to that. I have my Pelican 805, my Pelican 600, Pelican 200, my Vanishing Point, and most of these you would have seen in the extra fine nib video. That's why they're still inked, except for the All-Star. And then in kind of the little bonus section here, I've got the Asvine V126 frosted, which has Mont Blanc Irish Green in it. The Asvine P36 Piston with the Bach nib. That has, I blanked on it. It's the Iroshizuku kind of darker green. I just blanked on the name. Got an Asvine V200 with Mont Blanc blue in it. I've got my glass dip nib that I use and take that to pen meetups. And I always take this roll with me, so if there's people who want to try anything that I have inked, that's why I kind of keep that in there. This is a desk pen. This is my Asvine V200 that has Diamine Earl Grey in it. The other pen I've been keeping on top of the desk lately is the Lamy 2000 in stainless. And that has a Iroshizuku Shinkai. This is the roller ball I picked up at the Gentleman Stationer. I almost got the black one, but the kind of urban camo-ish, it looked just different enough that it pulled me in. And I actually have two of these pins. One is the CR02, and this is the CR01. This one's just a little bit bigger diameter. I got the smaller one first, but I actually liked the bigger diameter. So this is the roller ball. So if I need a comparison or I don't have a need for the fountain pen, that's what I've been using for that. Let's get that put aside. And then currently in my Manhattan Portage, this is that CR02 version of the roller ball from Oto. I've got my other Lamy 2000 that has a Iroshizuku Konpeki in it. I've got my Twisby Caribbean, my Opus 88 Minty, my 3776 Ultra Extra Fine that has one of the color verts. I think it's Red Horizon from the calendar. My always inked in Oxblood Sailor 1911 Black Luster. And then my Lamy Studio, which I did the video on. And that has I believe, Brinicles. It was one of the Inkfint calendar inks as well, so a light blue. So that's what I've been keeping in this pen case. And then my kind of go-to pen case that if I was only going to grab one, it would be this one. And it currently has in it my Schaefer Coffee Edition. My, I just blanked on the name. My Onoto Churchill Edition that I did the video on. My 823, as always. My Opus 88 Demonstrator, and my Opus 88 Omar. So that's the... Oh, and then not to forget, my Kaweco Sport Piston with the Toro, the new orange Oroshizuku in it. So that's kind of my current state of affairs when it comes to stationery and pens, of what I have inked, what I've been using. I don't use all of these things every day, but I use most of these things at least every 2 to 3 days. You know, this is the pen case that might be sitting on my desk if I'm journaling or something like that. This is the pen that I use in the health journal that I have in the A5, so it has the consistency. I'll just grab a random pen at times. I've been trying to do better about rotating through all of them, so I'm not just using the same 4 or 5. If it's inked, I've been trying to make a better, more concerted effort to use it with some frequency. So that's kind of, I believe, and I'm certain I've missed a few inked up pens that are stuck around in different bags or pockets of bags. So I'm gonna have to look and see what those are, but I think that kind of covers the general state of the stationery items that I have in use at the moment. Okay, so that's gonna wrap up this look of the state of the stationery for what I'm using at the moment, what I have inked, and what's sitting on my desk or going in bags for regular use. Hopefully you found that interesting. Now I would like to know, do you do similar looks at what all you are currently using? Do you take inventory of what pens you have inked, or keep that tracked or logged in some way? Do you take account of your notebooks, and do you use it from page 1 through the very end and put a variety of subjects in each notebook? Or do you do like I do and kind of divide them out to different smaller notebooks to use for specialized cases so that all the information's kept together? The other question I have is, are you keeping a commonplace book? As I mentioned, I'm really not certain what I want to do with it. I like the idea of it. I like the idea of a catch-all type commonplace book, but I also, I think I get distracted a little bit with what you see in terms of videos and some people who have these exquisite books that look like works of art, and I don't want mine to be a work of art. I want mine to be functional, but I'm also a little bit torn of what information that I would want to put in there. So leave a comment. Let me know how you're using a commonplace book, how you fill it up, how you organize it, because I know it can be done in multiple different ways, and that's something I'm looking for a little bit more information for myself. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing so you can see new videos as they're released, and thanks for watching.